Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And you know what day it is. Yeah, that's right. It's a holiday for some people. For others, Monday is the holiday. For others, this entire weekend is a holiday. But it's also the day that I answer your questions. What holiday is it, you might be asking? Well, that is a question that I will answer. Well, today is Good Friday. Sunday is Easter Sunday. And Monday is the Monday after Easter. That's the day that some people wind up having a holiday. And again, other people don't wind up either celebrating or having a holiday at all. And I'm in that latter category to where I talked about this before. I don't celebrate holidays. Now, like if something were going on and a friend was like, hey, Darryl, do you want to come over? I wouldn't be like, no, screw you. I'm not celebrating holidays. But I don't go out of my way to do anything special for them. It's, just another day, right? Well, to some people, it's more than just another day, and I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying it's just another day. I understand the significance of the holiday. I just don't celebrate it. But I digress. Today is the day that I answer your questions. And while there were no questions sent directly to me, just before I began recording, I saw something on Facebook where it was, one of these open-ended questions from one of my friends who likes to do this. Well, she'll ask these questions and just, let people respond. And the question was, what is one of your goals in life? And, we talk a lot about goals on the show. Well, I say I talk, you listen, and if you're anything like I am, and I don't know if you are, but you probably talk back to the radio, because I do that. Even though I know that the person on the other end can't hear me, I'll still wind up verbalizing things. I don't know, if it's a guy trait to where, you yell at the TV or radio or whatever, but I do that. So, I'm assuming that you're, responding to me when I say things. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, discuss goals a good bit on the show. And I've talked about some of my goals, I think. But again, there was the question, what is one of your goals in life? And one of the recent goals that I've come up with, and this is something that if you would have asked me 5 years ago or told me, hey, you're going to do this one day, I would have laughed at you and told you that you were absolutely insane. And probably said several other things that can't be repeated on family-friendly radio. But the goal, and again, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it this calendar year or next year, 2018, but I do have a goal of completing a marathon. And I believe I've mentioned this previously. In actually just over 1 month, I'm completing a half marathon on May 15th. And I'm not going to say running because I know that I will not be able to keep up a run the entire time, but I will continue going forward, and I plan to, run as much of it as possible, and I will definitely run across the finish line. but I will complete a half marathon on May 15th. And at some point, I will say it now, at some point before the end of 2018, I will complete a marathon. So that is one of my goals. What are some of yours? Send those to goals@fppradio.com, and I will read some of them. I will not give your name. I will not give any identifying information about you. So, use a burner email, make up a fake email, whatever. Just, send those over, goals@fppradio.com, and I will share some of them on a future episode of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. So let's change gears here, since that was the only question that I had. And you know what? Before I actually wind up getting into any of the show topics that I have, I actually want to talk about a cause. I say cause. It's actually a person that has a defense fund, and I want to talk about that. Specifically, the art being produced by this individual. You may know who I'm talking about, or you may think you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ross Ulbricht. And if you're not familiar with Ross Ulbricht, he was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years a couple of years ago because he dared create a website that people could buy and sell things on. This website was on what they call the dark web, to where you couldn't get to it from your regular browser. You had to have a special browser to be able to get to the Silk Road. But Ross Ulbricht is sitting in jail. And one of the things that he's been doing, because, well, when you're in jail, you've got a lot of time on your hands. Something he's been doing is drawing art. And as a fundraiser, go to art.freeross.org, donate, and it will reveal a square of the image. And once it's all revealed, you will be able to buy prints of this image. They're on the second image right now. Go there, art.freeross.org.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, this is Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow Podcast, the Free Coast Freecast, and Pax Libertas Productions, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Was mentioning art.freeross.org, and, well, there's actually a prize, or actually several prizes that you could possibly win if you donate, again, through art.freeross.org. Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has put up 21 1-ounce silver dollars. And after this picture is completely revealed, 21 people who bought squares will wind up getting a 1-ounce silver Liberty dollar from Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. And What's that you say? You want to get your hands on some silver and you don't want to wait to see if you won? Well, you're in luck, because you can call the fine folks at Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, and they can help you buy gold or silver. If you've got some that you want to sell, they can help you with that as well. 800-874-9760. That's 800-874-9760. Or visit online at rrbi.co. And the people, though, over there at Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, they take Bitcoin for all precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Again, 800-874-9760 or online at rrbi.co. Jumping into the show topics that I have. I've actually got 3 topics that I want to get into. I know I'm probably only going to have time for one of these, so I will go with the first one that I wound up popping up, and it's about values. Personal values, and why they are so important, and why they might be more important now than they've ever been. Article comes from Lifehack, and it begins, what's important to you? Your morning cup of coffee? Making time to walk your dog? Getting the assignment to your boss on time? Okay, but what is valuable to you? And there's a difference between what's important and what's valuable. According to the Atlantic magazine, 7 out of 10 Americans say that people's values have been getting worse in America over the past decade. What are your personal values, and what are values? Your values are a testament to your true self, because they are what matter most to you when it comes to personal and professional life. Your values influence that little voice in your head that tells you whether or not to care about something and how you should prioritize your time. Your values are the things that you believe are important in the way you live and work. Your core values help determine what you truly want in life, while simultaneously acting as the measuring stick you use to tell if you're satisfied with your current situation and whether or not you're living in a meaningful way. Core values define who you are while helping you find your purpose. Here are a few good examples of core value words. And I'm just going to read the words and pause so that you can think about each one just a little bit. Reliability. Dependable. Respectful. Loyal. Committed. Teamwork. Caring. Adventurous. Efficient. Listening. Diversity. Humility. Now, before I continue with the article, I want to point out a couple of these, and specifically as they relate to libertarianism, to where people that claim to be libertarians claim to be all about personal responsibility, right? And in that comes other things, to where, yes, you are responsible for what you do, but you're also responsible for how you treat other people. And a lot of libertarians want to forget about that and just say, well, I am not responsible for how you react to how I treat you. And so there's a lot of people that claim to be libertarian, or that claim to be an anarchist, or that claim to be, fill in the blank term that describes, what is encapsulated in libertarianism, that concept of, based upon the non-aggression principle, that don't don't initiate force or fraud against other people for any reason. There are some people that, would say that, yeah, that kind of describes what I believe, that are not respectful people. They're complete a-holes. And a lot of them are, proud of the fact that they're complete a-holes. But, well, how does that fit in with being respectful to other people? And some will say, well, being respectful is not in the non-aggression principle, so blah, blah, blah. Right, but again, there's, this recurring concept, and some people refer to it as the golden rule. Some people refer to it as, like the platinum rule. And there's various ways that you can say this. In Christianity, it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In Buddhism, it is don't do to someone else what you would not want done to you. And even though, again, those are basically the same concept, one of them is a positive and one of them is, and I don't want to say it's a negative, but in the concept of, positive rights, negative rights, it's a negative of don't do what you don't want done. And because of the word don't, that makes it a negative in the grammatical sense, not in the, oh, well, that's bad because you said negative. But so many people want to just throw respectability out the window and say, well, I just said some words. And then this person responded in a way, well, don't be an a-hole. How about that? Stay tuned.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Getting back into the article, getting away from my rant. Some of these values, and again, I will post the link in the show notes. You can read the list again at your leisure. Some of these values are instilled in you from childhood. They can be cultural or learned through watching your family and hearing their discussions about things that they're passionate about. Perhaps now in adulthood you realize that you're passionate about those same things. It's not a bad thing to share core values with those around you, but it can be detrimental to live a life that doesn't honor those values. How do core values affect our day-to-day decisions? And this is what I was trying to say, but I think I got the point across, just not as eloquently as I could have. Continuing with the article, we make decisions based on our values every day, but we sometimes forget about the important decisions that we face, big and small, and the potential stress that those choices can create. When you can identify your values and make choices that align with them, life suddenly becomes a little bit easier. But when you're running on autopilot and not allowing your values to coincide with your choices, you can find yourself becoming incredibly unhappy, and maybe you don't know why. Discovering your core values doesn't help with huge aspects alone. They also impact seemingly small things as well. Remember that thing you bought that you didn't really need, but you just felt like having. You made a decision to spend money wisely, or rather, you made the decision that spending money wisely was not valuable to you. But is that truly how you feel? Now it's the end of the month and bills are due. Perhaps it would be really helpful to have that money back. So it created stress. That disconnect stems from living a life that doesn't correlate with your core values. When you begin to make those choices that seem small at the time, knowing what you find valuable, you begin to feel less stress in other aspects of your life. This has a snowball effect and leads to continued better choices and prolonged stress-free existence. And the best part is, there's no hard work needed, just some introspection and self-awareness. And if simply sitting alone for a few minutes could impact the rest of your life in a positive way, would it be worth it? After all, knowing your values make important decisions, like accepting a job, starting a business, or making a big change, much easier. So how do you find your personal core values? Core values are important. By figuring out the things which matter to us the most, we can lead a better life. Here are 2 ways to find your personal core values. And I'm just going to read the 2 things and then go back to read the subparagraphs that they have below. Start with what you already know about yourself, your morals. Secondly, your own experience will be your best tool in realizing what is valuable to you. So now going back to read the paragraphs they have below this. Knowing your core values can simply sync with your morals. After all, your values have a direct impact on your standards of behavior. Think about it. If it is morally important to you to arrive at your workplace and focus on nothing but work on company time, it will also be true that being an honest and efficient employee is valuable to you, and it's a value that you carry to every job you have. Maybe you're the kind of partner who puts their phone away when you're on a date. This probably means you're a morally loyal person, and you want to ensure that your partners know that you value their time. This is a strong indication that, as a core value, you put relationships first and work hard to show people that you care. You could easily list respect and commitment to your list of personal core values. And then under part 2, think back to a time you were the happiest. Why were you so happy? Was the fulfillment you felt due to other people? Who were they? Think about when you were proud of yourself and why you felt that pride. Your own experience can shine great light on what you hold important. And don't be afraid to look ahead. What values do you want to exemplify to your children if you decide to have them? And if you want others to value, it's valuable to you. And what should you do with your core values? Well, they suggest here to sit down and make a list of what comes to mind. And let yourself explore those core value words. There's no set limit on how many values you can have, but allow yourself to list as many as you can, and then prioritize them. They say here, if you wind up with 20 words, consider crossing out those that barely made the list, and then prioritize your values. Personal development blogger Steve Pavlina suggested identifying the top value, then the second highest, and so on until you've rebuilt the list in order of priority from top to bottom. As you're trying to prioritize the values, have this question in the back of your mind. If I have to choose from these, which one goes first and which one can I live without? There's more. Stay tuned. Here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. We're talking about values. And not the kind of value that some people value is subjective, man. Well, personal values kind of are subjective a little bit. But again, there should be certain things that just seem to be on everyone's list. Now, it might not be number one on your list, but it should be on everyone's list. And I would say that respectability or respectfulness should definitely be on that list. And again, there's a list that they have made here in the article from Lifehack. They also suggest that you make your own list and then prioritize them. And then once you've done that, look to your values every day. Once you've determined what your values are, it's vital to look to them every day. We all face challenging situations and decisions, and Sam Whitaker put it best when he wrote, "All people are thrust into tough situations from time to time, situations where the right thing to do isn't obvious. Knowing which values are most important to you before these situations arise will help make you make better decisions. So let your values be valuable to you. Everyone is on their own path, and no one can tell you what your core values are but you. And don't be afraid to rework your list in the future. This is not something that's set in stone, so don't be afraid to rework it if you realize that your values wind up changing. Rework the list. You're allowed to consciously change your values over and over. You are not your values. They say you are the thinker of your thoughts, but you are not the thoughts themselves. Your values are your current compass, but they aren't necessarily the real you. Remember, your values should aid in creating your best life and your more authentic self. You make the rules, be patient with yourself, and dedicate the time to discovering your core values. You'll be amazed at the things you can accomplish. And again, the link will be in the show notes. You can read it at your leisure. And I definitely recommend figuring out what is valuable to you. That's it for this week. We'll be back on Monday. And don't forget, every Friday, I answer your questions. Send those over, ama@fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.